Hello, my name is Danielle, and today I'll be going over how to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. In 2009, the Guinness Book of World Records recognized the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game as the world's top-selling trading card game. Even though it's one of the top-selling, it's not one of the easiest to play. So today I'll be going over some of the basics. I'll tell you what you use to play the game, how to start the game, and what you do during your typical turn. So I'll turn the camera over here to where I have our field set up. Over here, we have our deck zone, where you place your deck, which has 40 to 60 cards. According to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Guide, there are over 9,000 different Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards created. This can make it hard to choose what you want in your deck, but after a lot of planning, it can be done. Here we have our graveyard, which we use to discard cards. You have 5 monster card zones, 5 spell and trap card zones, a field card zone, where you place field spells that look like this and are indicated by this symbol. Then finally, we have our extra deck zone, where you place your extra deck, which can have up to 15 cards. So in Yu-Gi-Oh!, you and your opponent have 8,000 life points, and the point is to get your opponent's life points down to 0. Now I'll tell you how to start the game. First, you and your opponent take your deck and you shuffle it. When you're done shuffling, you cut it. Then you place it back in your deck zone. Now you have to figure out who will go first. You can do this by flipping a coin or playing rock, paper, scissors. Then you and your opponent each draw 5 cards, and these 5 cards become your hand. Now I'll explain what you do during your typical turn. First, it's your draw phase, where you draw a card. Next, it's the standby phase. This is there because certain cards have effects that say activate during the standby phase. Next, it becomes your main phase 1. During your main phase 1, you can do 2 things. That is, summon a monster or set spell and trap cards. I'll first go over how to set spell and trap cards. For trap cards, you have to set them like this, and you can use them on your opponent's turn or your next turn. You can't use it on the turn you set it. Spell cards, you can activate like this or set them down like trap cards, but you can't use them on your opponent's turn, only your turn. Next, I'll go over how to summon monsters. You can only normal summon a monster once per turn. I'll go over how to normal summon certain monsters. Monsters with level 4 or lower can be normal summoned without sacrificing. To normal summon, you can place it in face-up attack position or face-down defense position. Monsters level 5 or 6 need to have 1 sacrifice to normal summon them. So, to sacrifice, you discard a card that you already have on the field and normal summon in face-up attack position or face-down defense position. Monsters with level 7 or higher need 2 sacrifices to be normal summoned. So, like before, we sacrifice these 2 monsters on the field and discard it to the graveyard and normal summon it in face-up attack position or face-down defense position. So, after your main phase 1, it's your battle phase. You can't conduct your battle phase on your first turn because your opponent didn't go yet, so they have nothing on the field. So, I'll pretend that it's my next turn, and my opponent has a monster in face-up attack position, and so do I. So, during your battle phase, you say, I'll use my monster to attack your monster. If your attack is higher, their monster is destroyed, and then during the damage step, they take battle damage equal to the difference in your attack and their attack. If they have a monster in face-down defense position, you say, I'll attack this card with my card. So you flip it over. You see if their defense is lower than your attack, you destroy this card, but no battle damage is taken. But if you flip it over and their defense is higher than your attack, you take the difference in battle damage, but your card is not destroyed. So now I'll go back, and after the battle phase, it becomes our main phase 2. Now I'm going to have a little pop quiz. Remember during main phase 1, I said there was only something you can do once per turn? What was that? That's right, it's normal summon a monster. you can only do this once per turn. So, if during your main phase 1, you already normal summon a monster, during your main phase 2, you're not allowed to, but you can still special summon monsters. And just like main phase 1, in main phase 2, you're allowed to set more spell and trap cards. So that's all you do during your typical turn. I hope this tutorial helped, and if you have any further questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.